Jim West favorites. I'll show one angle here and then I'll work the right hand. If we're standing in here like so and he's got his hands up, a good guard posture, what I want to do is I want to set a trap. So instead of sitting like this, I want to open my hands a little bit. I know that when you do this, he's going to punch right to my chin. So you want to give him a little bit. You give him a little bit. When he punches, you're going to slide your head and step. As you step, you trap this wrist, and you go a few inches right where the tricep hits it above the elbow, and you smash in here real hard. This is going to break, a good chance it's going to break or lock out that elbow real hard. Now, I'll show you a finishing technique, and we'll just use the other hand. It works the same way as the left hand. So I open up. When he comes in, go ahead and fire your punch. I'll shoot here. When you trap here, and you catch that elbow real hard. You want to hit it hard enough to break it, then press them on down to the ground by staying on the back of the shoulder. Now, once you get here, you want to take, and I'm going to have to change my angle for you guys. Dale, you shift and roll. Okay, go ahead. So you want to go here, take them down, and then sit down over top of the arm, right on the back of the shoulder, and press them out, okay? All you're doing is putting weight on the back of the shoulder and lifting up on the hand until they tap. All right. We'll look at it again. Okay, you want to come and work that? Do it one more time. What you give them, you take and push down. All right, once you got them down, you just slide over that shoulder and got them going, okay? Nice and easy. All right, I'll let you work, then I'll let you work. We'll make sure that this thing's working for everybody. Okay, open up. Good. Press. Good. Tap. All right, good job. Let's try it from the other angle. Switch sides. Looks pretty good. Good. Now cross over. Sit. Good job. Okay. Mr. Butler. Okay, Dale, I know you're ready to get some work. Remo here is bigger than everybody, so he doesn't get all the work we get. He was patting. Okay. Gotta cut that out. That's a future teaching point, guys.
We want to see that again.
You will.
His arm bent.
Yeah.
I couldn't do his arm bent.
You'll see it. Yeah, he brings a new meaning in here. All right, it's very important to take note that when you got a guy as strong as Remo is here, he's a big guy. They say a good big guy will always beat a good small guy. In most cases, that's true, unless you have leverage. The first thing you want to keep in mind, go ahead and hit a ready position, is that when you do this first hit, when you get in here, you want to hit hard enough to cause damage back here. So you're going to, when he comes in, you're going to twist, turn your body, and hammer him hard, stay above his shoulder all the way to the ground here. If you have problems, there's two ways to handle this. I'm going to rotate you around real quick the other way, and I'll show you why. If I went down on this knee here and I didn't weigh very much, I can literally lay behind his shoulder down here and pull. And if it doesn't work, then you're too small. The other one is when you get him here, and once you set up on top of him, I go, oh my Lord, he's too strong. Now this is going to come out a little later. It's called a arm bar. But you're going to take him and roll his whole body over here, run his arm between your pelvis, keep your legs here, do not cross them, and then you take him out like this, and you just push your hips up, and this is really going to cause a lot of stress and pain. You can also put your feet on the side of his head or wherever you need them. This does work for smaller people. So Dale, you're giving up 65, 70 pounds. Let's go through it one time. Down, over top, pull. Good. All right, good job.
Hey crew, Mark Hatmaker here. Helping me out over here, having a drink. Did you already finish that one off? I'll top you off here in a minute. Is Chris Headhunter Osborne. We're going to be talking more bottle work or glass work. Again, I should say again, what our specialty is here is old school boxing, old school wrestling, frontier rough and tumble combat, historically accurate, visually verified. We're talking about, it could be tips from old school brothel caretakers, which we've done this in other areas as well, but you know, saloons, or any place you got where you might have, you are using environmental weapons around you. And in this case, it might be glassware. We've discussed in other areas about how to use a bottle and how to use it properly. But let's say that you don't have a bottle at the first thing that comes to hand, but you usually are going to have glassware. In this case, can I borrow that from you, please? I'm getting ready, he's been kind, he's handed me an empty glass. I'm mad at him because it's empty. So I'm going to get my own back at him. Or I'm reaching across to the bar, when I lay my hands on it, when I pick it up, I'm going to smash him in the face with it. Whenever I do so, I'm not holding it like this, but I am going to hit one of the targets. I'm probably going to, bam, bash him in the face as hard as I can. If you remember the bottle tips, the same thing holds here. We got to make sure we're turning away from it. We release immediately so we're not taking glass into the hands. We turn away, and we also remember the don't wipe your face rule. And if you're going to go, what is all that noise? Have a look at the bottle clip, and that'll make sense. I don't really repeat it again here. But what we want to do when we pick this up and I strike him this way in the side of his hard head, even if I'm releasing at the same time, this has no structural integrity in this center. Even if there's liquid within it, it's not going to be enough to back it up. It will shatter, but I want to make sure it does not shatter in my hand. I'm doing my best to make sure it doesn't. So when I lay my hand on it, I don't reach for it off the bottle top, off the bar top this way. I reach this way. Or if it's lip down, this way. Either one will work. Now, whenever I smash him, I will smash him this position or this position. That has structural integrity. So when I pick this thing up, bam, I hit him hard and fast. I look away. The lip grip to either side, that will do the job. Turn your face away, let go immediately in case it shatters. Don't look at it, and make sure you obey the don't wipe your face rule.
Hey, it's Jimbo here with your next tip. This one's about home invasion. It used to be that burglars would wait until you were gone before breaking into your home. Not anymore. Home invasions are becoming more common because, frankly, the bad guys actually want you to be home, to get your debit card and PIN number, or to find out exactly where you've hidden your cash, or to get the combination to your safe. Thing is, this is a life and death situation for you and your family. You and your family may not survive it, even if you give these goons exactly what they want. In that kind of a scenario, using lethal force to protect yourself and your loved ones is justified. Problem is, what if you're taken by surprise? You may not be able to get to a weapon in time, which is why it's important for you to know how to use your bare hands as lethal weapons. And that's exactly what I've got for you, a series of lethal techniques that can end a deadly threat in seconds using nothing but your bare hands. I've got some U.S. Special Forces to show you their secrets, their extremely ruthless and grisly moves. Pretty shocking stuff, really. I would show them to you right now, but I can't. They're considered to be too violent and deadly for this platform. I've already been warned a couple of times, so showing this on my channel would get me shut down for sure. But you can get them for free just by clicking on the link in the description. Okay, let's move on to our next tip.
Finally next we have what we call just a standard headlock, or what I like to call the schoolboy, because it's an instinctive technique that we see everywhere. And we've done it as kids. But when we're locked up, his body position may switch to where he ends up right here. What I'm going to do, instead of trying to turn around and getting hit, I'm just going to lock him up and just gain control of his head. Okay, if you notice now, what I'm going to do is once I have control, I'm just overlapping my hands, pulling it in tight, getting my head down, getting my body weight down and into him to where we're not going to go to the ground. And again, I'm looking, I'm scanning what's around me, so that I can turn him, open him back up, and just start laying the head again. Okay? So it's just a preliminary position. Again, we're inside. We might be strapping. He switches. I lock him up. I turn. I look for my other enemies. There's none there. I open him up. Wham, 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 wham. Okay, and I start hitting him again and again and again.
Hey, final notice about the 15 brutal fight enders. It's simple, easy to learn, and devastatingly effective training taught to...
Basic American boxing punch. The key is not learning how to punch. Most adult men in America know how to double up their fist. The key is knowing where to punch an individual. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to target Chad's upper lip or chin. I want to do what's called spinning the chin or getting the head to tuck down in. And what does that do to us, Chad? We know that it spins some juice in the brain. it's going to do some, it's going to hopefully knock us out, right?
It would be like an awful lot like shutting down a computer. You shut down the computer, you have to reboot it. It'd be just like restarting the computer. It shuts down because of the force of the motion.
Right. So what we do is Chad makes the same assertive motion towards his weapon. I'm going to strike right into the tip of the jaw or into the nose. Now, I'm actually lifting my hand, and we're going to get into a fighting stance. If you have to have a fighting stance, I call this sort of the no stance. If I'm standing in front of somebody and Chad starts to swing, not draw a gun. Let's say we're not in a gunfight and Chad starts to swing on me. A modular style of fighting stance, if we have to have a stance, simply make two fists, bring them up to the head, and tuck them in. And we're going to show why that's effective, because it doesn't take any train. It simply becomes a cover. We can cover ourselves up, and we can throw punches from here, and we can actually throw blocks and arm breaks from here. He throws a punch, and I can't get this hand here in time. But now what I'm going to have is a punch that he doesn't see coming. We're going to take that same basic American punch and put it right in his chin. So I've turned off of here. Now I'm just going to turn back into the enemy and strike again, right in the chin. So we want to put him down on the chin. That chin's going to turn him off like a light switch. So Chad again throws a punch. I simply block. He can't see this hand behind my head. So that moment of blind area where Chad doesn't see me coming, when I strike back, it puts him down. He can feel just barely tapping on the chin causes some discomfort, doesn't it? Yeah. It only takes about that much energy to knock a person out. So if I'm going to tap Chad in the chin, let me simulate that by, Chad's a big boy, I'm going to put one in his chest. We're going to hit him with about the same energy that it would take to knock him out. And then I'll show you how hard I might hit somebody to kill if we want to take him out and it becomes lethal. So Chad throws a punch. It's a glancing blow, and I come back. How about that hard? Feel good? Yeah. Feels good to me. So let's try it again. Chad throws a punch. Here, come back on the chin. And he's taking it in the pec. If I hit much harder, we're probably going to separate a pec here. Right? It's going to be sore tomorrow. That's what we love that. So what you're seeing. Now, is that an entire fight? It is in my world. In modular fighting, here's an entire fight. Chad reaches up, throws a punch, makes connection, come back, fight's over. Okay? You okay? Beautiful. Okay.
Another deadly combination is a neck clinch and knee to the ground. That's preceded by the Spartan spear. So once you have jabbed the eye and shocked the opponent, you can then grab him around the neck and then follow up with a vicious knee attack. All right, now let's take a look at what that looks like on your opponent. So Eric's helping me out on this one. The first movement, of course, is the most direct movement. And I'm going to simply come in, I'm going to jab at the eyes. I am taking the offensive. All right? Now, in most cases, in a street fight, once there is a conflict, it is not really all that wise to wait for the opponent to attack you. If you feel threatened, what you have to basically do is you have to go on the offensive. So, in this case, I've got some room, I've got some distance. All right? So, I'm using a mid-range hand tool. That's going to bridge the gap. I'm going to take a short step forward. I'm going to go for the eyes. And then I'm going to move in. I'm going to clinch the neck. And as I talked about before, you have to interlock the fingers. You have to compress the forearms against the sides of his neck. And then I'm going to repeatedly knee him. All right? I've got the left. I can flip around, bring back my right leg, and then I can shoot for his groin. I can shoot for his solar plexus. Again, I can bring the left in. As long as I've trapped his head from moving, then really his mobility with his feet is restricted. Now, of course, I can also throw in some other tactics from here. I might want to roll around and stick my fingers in his eyes. I may want to gouge with my thumb once I'm in this position. So once you're in a clinch, regardless of what he does, whether he grabs you in a waist lock and he tries to do anything against you, as long as you can hold this position and you can simply move your hands to his most sensitive areas, and you can set up knee strikes from here, okay? So I've got his eyes, and then I can bring in my knees. Then I can use a crank, a guillotine choke perhaps. All right? These are all techniques that are set up with the Spartan spear. I bridge the gap from mid-range, and once I'm in close, there is a diversity of offensive techniques that I can apply effectively.
Real cross choke is usually, again, coming from somebody from behind. If this cat, say he might have your homeboy in a bad situation, he might be attacking somebody, all you're doing is coming across, bending the elbow, and crossing your hands, and then just applying pressure. Doesn't take much. You barely flex. You're going across, give you a different angle, and just simply choking. You all right, dog? Now, sometimes we find ourselves fighting up here in this position and coming into a clinch position. If we're just fighting, get your guard up, man. Just, we up in here, and I get up in here. A lot of times it's just to grab and move around and try to push off. This is a front cross choke. If I get this cat in this position, all I'm going to do is take this hand, fold it back here, crank the side of my hand against his face, and then squeeze. Give you another act. So if we here, we boxing, back. As soon as I'm here, I'm back in here, cranking his hand against his temple, trying to break him off, a little something proper. This is a cross choke, front and rear. Rear is usually done when the person is least expecting it, when the person is either attacking your homeboy, when you see somebody where you need to just get them off and drop the choke, or if you're in the fight with this person and he gives you his back. A lot of people that's going to give you your back, most people are going to come confront you forward. So once you up in here and you get in this clinch position, once you drop that bicep in there, go ahead and crank them. Nobody's even used to this front choke. Once you got the front choke, you breathing all right, bro? Once you got that front choke, this cat is not going to really give you too many problems. Get that front choke on him, choking him out, making it good.
First thing that people do when they're choked is they panic. He comes up and he grabs me around the throat, and my first response is to grab his wrists and start to struggle. That just aids what's happening on his part. I don't want to do that. Number one, I'm not going to have the body strength, the arm strength, to pull his arms away. Another alternative that I see very often is this kind of a motion, people trying to drive their arms up through the middle. That won't work if he's intent on squeezing the top of my head off either. That won't work. Again, there's a number of ways to do this. I find this the most simple and very, very effective. We'll go through at full speed, and then we'll back up and do it slower. You should probably put on a helmet, and I should probably put on one of the gloves at this point. As we're doing this, keep in mind that we've both done this for a number of years, quite a number of years. If you don't have a falling partner that knows how to fall, stop your attack or your counterattack at the point where I'm taking these people down. Put your partner down on the ground and go from there. You'll find that you start to lose training partners if you throw people that don't know how to fall. Okay? Again, another important piece of equipment here. Again, this is not for my protection, but for Ron's. You can pick these things up just about anywhere, and it doesn't have to be a specific type of glove. I guess this one's busted. Okay? So, what we're talking about again is the choke. He comes in and chokes me. I'm going to escape and counterattack here. Stage one. The choke comes in. Let's take a look at what just happened here. The choke comes in. I simply raised my arm, crossed his body, came across here, and you can either come back with an elbow, or in the case of our last method here, I used a back knuckle, or what is also commonly referred to as a hammer fist. We're using the side of the head. Going to the soft part of the temple here, it's a very effective knockout type of a punch. Okay? Let's take this into stage two now, where we're going for more extreme measures. The choke comes in. All right, again, we need more extreme measures. We did the same technique. It was that circular motion of crossing over, breaking the hold. You're coming back with some type of technique here to get him off of you and to start disabling him to stop the action. Then strikes to the solar plexus will take him down in many cases if you have to. Remember, you're becoming the attacker. You're the aggressor now. You're going to end this action. If he goes down, what I did here was came up, he offered me the perfect opportunity for a groin kick, right up between the legs. You can stomp a knee. You can do a number of things. Use caution, though. If you've got a streetwise fighter on your hands here, you're going to get somebody kicking you. That's when you need to start getting offline. I felt in this situation that I had done enough damage to him to get him incapacitated to the point where I wasn't going to get kicked when I moved in. I want to back up a little bit and tell you something to think about here. The one way to make a mistake in this technique, the choke comes, you raise this hand and turn this way. It won't work. You have to cross their body, all right? If you get confused under stress, remember what we do in training is what we do under stress. Raise both hands, sign of submission, all right? He comes in and grabs, you throw both hands up, then it doesn't matter which way you turn. This is the portion of the body that's breaking the hold. My arm has nothing to do with it. And I'm rotating my body all of the way around. In a less aggressive situation, it puts you in a perfect position for my favorite technique, which is the sprint. Leave the area. But we've assumed that things have gotten to the point where we're not going to be able to do that. We're going to have to stand and fight. We're going to have to incapacitate him to the point where we don't have to deal with him anymore because he's got friends. There's other extenuating circumstances here. Okay? So the choke comes in. Don't panic. He's not going to pop the top of your head off. All right? Reach across. You can eye rake if you want to. If he can't see you, he can't fight you. If he's got glasses on, rip them off. Then do something back the other direction. Get him going away from you. And again, you attack. Not him, you. It's attitude, commitment, and technique. Technique being the least important. I'm offering you several techniques that you can use here. They're all effective. But they're only effective if you're aggressive. I said earlier, I'll say it again and again and again. You can't resist a little bit. It has to be effective and explosive. You have to be a tiger when you go into these situations. That's the winning attitude.
Down to the legs. Again, we have the thighs. We have the outside of the knee. On the outside of the thigh, along the pant seam here, you're going to have the common peroneal nerve. Again, it's a very good target area by hitting that. If you hit it with enough force, usually can cause a locomotor dysfunction of the leg, causing the person to fall, and actually it's possible that he'll have trouble walking for a couple hours after that. Also, on the inside of the pants leg, you have basically, if you follow the seam, you have the femoral nerve. Again, if you attack that with a kick, for example, or even a forearm strike or any type of stick or weapon, again, you can cause local motor dysfunction of that limb, and again, the person will have trouble walking. Going on down, we have the knees. Knees are excellent target areas. It's better to attack the knees from the outside. They're less stable from that position rather than head on, unless his knees happen to be locked. If his knees are bent, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to, at least from a head-on attack, to do any damage. So my preference is always come from the outside in or inside out. We have the shins. Okay, the shins, you can't do much damage to it unless, one, you rake with the instep of your foot, or two, if you kick from the outside in. Again, the way the bone is designed, it basically runs, it'll look something like this with the tips of my finger being in front of the bone. So the bone is actually thinner from hitting it on the outside than if you hit it straight on. In fact, if you try to kick somebody there, it's going to be, again, whoever's got the strongest bones will win that fight. So always hit the shin bone from the outside or from the inside.
Opens them right up. All right. Second technique I have to show you is in a case where a guy grabs the wrist. Say I'm a woman, a guy, my friend is roughhousing, he's grabbing my wrist. I'm telling him, look, man, let go, you know, it's embarrassing, we out with our friends. I want you to let go. Now, things start to get a little more serious because this is actually a takedown. This is not just a regular release like you see in a lot of other classes. I can do that. I can say, hey, let go. I can go against that thumb. It always works. I don't care how tight he holds me. I just peel out of that thumb. That thumb is not going to hold my wrist, okay? But I don't want to do that. This is a little more serious. I want to get the guy down and out of the way, okay? So here's the technique. I'm going to turn around so you can see it a little bit better. First thing I do is I'm going to look up and look at my own palm, okay? Now, I'm not truly looking at my palm, but this is the effect I want. I'm going to look up and I'm going to reach in. The reason I'm pulling it in is so that I can have access to his hand. I want to be able to grab the meat of his hand, okay? So he grabs my wrist, he won't let go. I come up, I move it towards myself to give myself room, because here I can't really see what I'm doing. Here I can see. Next thing I'm going to do is come up and across. I'm going to grab the meat of his hand. Not very technical. Come up, grab the meat of the hand. Once I have control, I pull myself out in that same technique I showed you for breaking out. I'm going to grab it, all the fingers inside the palm of the hand, all right, just like I'm going to take a bite of a sandwich. Now, here's the important part. I can take him down right from here. But I found in real life situations when I try to do this whole and just try to take a big guy down from here, oftentimes it doesn't work because he can go and fight against it. He can fight against it and strength against strength. I don't want that. The way to take this person down, and it works all the time. As a matter of fact, last week I was in class and one of my instructors came to me and said they had a female that they could not take down, much smaller than them, because she's very double jointed and her wrist could just bend and she can go with it. And he's standing there, he's trying to take it down. One of my instructors, he couldn't do it. So what I told him to do is this. The most important part is to take this back leg and spin in a circle. That circular motion is going to bring him down. It looks like this. I'm going to do it slowly. Circle down as I pull that hand down and lock him out. Okay? Now, I don't let him bend the arm. I lock it out, pull it straight out so that he can't get any strength to do anything. From here, I can hold it with one hand as I use the stomps that I've already taught you. Come down with the knee. Hammer fist to the throat. Eye jab, whatever I need to do, because I can control him. He goes to move on me. All I got to do is twist that wrist. See the reaction? He's going to be in pain. And to take it even further, if you happen to do this technique in someone in the street, that's going to break the wrist. I'm going to pop that wrist. Okay? All right, once again, we'll walk you through it. He reaches out and grabs. If you need to, give him something to think about. Give him something to think about. That's going to also help you with that release. Because if he's holding really tight, I'm fighting, I can't turn him, pop. That's going to make him forget about that. I reach up, I pull it towards myself, grab, grab, spin, and take down. Circular rotation. Come on up. Just stand for a second. Let me show you something about that circular rotation. Stand there. When I take this technique, I go up. This is for you to practice by yourself. I take it up, I bend it towards me, I grab, I grab. Circular rotation, you need to, I'm starting here, I need to spin 180 degrees. Take that guy down. I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna spin all the way around, bringing him with me. Lock it straight out, work my techniques. Okay? Very effective technique, can break the wrist. Especially with a big guy and all that momentum is going, you can break the wrist about 5 pounds of pressure there. It's a very good technique.
Thanks for watching our video lessons here at TRS Direct. Hit the like button down below and consider subscribing to our channel here on YouTube. Hit the bell icon and we'll send you a notification when there's a new lesson available. Thanks again for watching.